Yeah, and we're going. We're moving. Yeah, I just wanted to record another video of this style. Just in the meantime, I'm working on the first video's script. Got some background music made. I'm not very good at making my own music yet. I'm still trying to learn music theory, trying to understand it, so I can make, you know, a proper symphony. So I'm kind of using a AI app to create some really basic background music. It's not bad. I've used it before. I've used it for other things, sound effects and stuff. So yeah. Besides that, I'm also trying to do Lent this year proper. Well, not completely proper, but at least dietarily wise. It's gonna be a rough month. No alcohol. I'm abstaining from meat and poultry and dairy and eggs. Oh fuck! I gotta have a little bit of cream in my coffee. I'm already abstaining from a lot. I already feel like, got nothing to exist for, nothing to live for. Anyways, the next Lent will be better for sure. But yeah, so that's my forecast for the month, and should be able to get at least 2 of these videos out that I plan on making. Not of this style, but of the more edited and scripted and better visuals, hopefully. So, I don't know, I just wanted to make another video because I have thoughts. I have tons and tons of thoughts. And one of those thoughts is just I find everyone thinks they know better than everyone else. I know I don't know better. That's the thing. I know that I have limitations, and I know that I don't know everything. Like, I could objectively say, like, some things are wrong and some things are stupid, right? But other people, they can do no wrong, or they can think no wrong, and they're always on the right side of reason, which is not true at all. We're all still animals. We're animals plus. And we react in ways that animals react to, which is defensively, right? If you feel threatened. You don't have to just feel threatened physically. If you feel threatened, your personality's threatened. You have an animalistic desire to defend your person, your persona, your character. So, and a lot of people don't get that. They think acting like an animal is just in, certain physical behaviors, like the way you eat or the way you clean yourself or the way you walk. But it's not just that. It's also the way you react to, insults and comments. And I mean, everyone has a breaking point. That's fair. Like, everyone's got it. There's only so much you can take in one round before you lash out and defend yourself, and that's perfectly acceptable. But a lot of people seem to think that there is no limit, and they themselves can just keep dishing out the criticisms and the insults, but you can't say anything back to them because they'll act like an animal right away. They'll defend themselves right away, aggressively, and it's just so fucking hypocritical. Pardon my French. And I just find I'm always in that situation in my life where I have to. I mean, I'm definitely not concerned or scared to insult somebody or to offend somebody. Like, if they're offended or insulted, I don't really care at this point, because it's not my objective. But if it's not my objective, then you're just getting offended or insulted for nothing. And I find I'm always around people that have very strong opinions, but if you were to say something to them, well, suddenly you're the enemy, and this just gets very tiring after a while. And it's not the same across all types of individuals. It's in different degrees and intensities. Different groups, we'll say, different demographics have certain degrees of how much they like to put out on people and how much they are willing to take in. And I just always find I'm always surrounded by people that are willing to attack your character, but if you defend yourself, oh my god, end of the world, apocalypse. And that's why I've just got more quiet over the years. Just, well, if everything I say coming out of my mouth is horrendous, or it's, the cruelest thing I can say, well, then I'll just stay quiet. And it's not a matter of analyzing the situation. I analyze situations perfectly, but it's just everyone just seems to be, like I said, they think they're the smartest person in the world. They're given the mandate of heaven. You're not. Trust me, they're not. They don't have the mandate of heaven. And since I'm not drinking, still full month of no liquor. Pretty happy there. Then I'll aim for another month, and then after I aim for another month, I'll reassess my situation. But that's the thing. Like, I'm trying to limit the amount of things that sort of dull or numb you, and I just find it now that the next thing is there's people to deal with. And I know that's kind of part of enlightenment, is to just kind of, sorry, just drinking my tea, deal with individuals. But the problem is that sometimes if you stay quiet, certain kinds of individuals, they get emboldened, and I think it's a permission to keep going, or permission to continue the assault. Anyways, we'll see what happens. Worst case scenario, I'll just have more time for these videos. And my art, which is going painfully slow. I cannot, as of recently, I cannot get even doing small adjustments or small additions to my paintings. It's just snail's pace. Just feel really stuck. It just seems a little unfair at times how, I mean, I know there's always going to be people that have it worse, but it's like, well, am I not allowed to complain because other people have it worse? I'm not even complain, just vent frustrations. And I find, when you vent, I know when you vent too many frustrations, people kind of look at you as weak, or they don't like that. People don't respond to that very well. But then if I stay quiet, then it's like, why aren't you talking? Why aren't you opening up? Well, this is my way of dealing with the stress. It's just to process it internally and dispose of it. And it's really annoying to repeat myself to people that are supposed to be your friends or family. And just feel very, very alone in my endeavors. I mean, I felt kind of alone most of my life, but it's probably at its peak right now. Feels whatever I'm doing I'm doing on my own, and there's no one to ask for help, because you can't ask for help. If you ask for help, it's weakness. But then they encourage you to ask for help, to break, and then suddenly you owe somebody. You're in debt. It's just a sad reality that I have to contend with. Yeah. On a side note, I don't know if anyone that's listening to this plays StarCraft 2. But do you find that the general intelligence has gone down. I'm don't get me wrong. I'm not the greatest player, but I'm talking like special needs type play styles and reaction times that can only be described as non-existent. And like I know I probably should just play 1v1 and just man up and deal with 1v1, but I just find it easier to create. Uh, well, I mean before originally I was doing it, I'd play multiplayer and talk over it while I play, so maybe that's why. Because now I'm just recording multiplayer games and then putting them in the background. So maybe I just need to go back to 1v1. But I just, again, it's I'm always stuck. I can objectively say I'm always stuck with the retards. But I'm not good enough for the big leagues, so stuck in the middle, caught between a rock and a hard place. Oh man, I want to drink so badly right now. I want to just destroy a 6-pack and just get like one of those. I have a Stein glass, right? It's those huge, German style beer mugs. I just want to top that off with beer. Sit back, maybe light a huge joint. No, that would be good. That would be nice. But I can't, because I said I want to take a year off of alcohol. Actually, what I wanted to try and do was I made homemade wine before, and I just bought like a pre-made mash, so it's like the liquid's already prepared for you. Like you don't have to do the crushing of the grapes yourself, and you just do the fermentation and the bottling. So the last time I did that, what I did was I made it, like I did the first fermentation process, and then when I transferred it to what they call the second fermentation phase, I just let it sit there in this giant bottle for a year, and then I bottled it. And man, that wine was good. Like just for homemade wine, like a lot of people make homemade wine, it tastes like fucking vinegar. This was good. Maybe that's what you're supposed to do, but everyone I know, they would just, they bottle it they ferment it for a few months or however long it takes to ferment, and then they put in the bottle of wine right away. But just leaving it in that, what they call the carboy, the big glass jugs, I'll put a picture of it so you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I left that thing for a year, maybe a little bit more, and after I bottled it, man, that was some good wine. Plus, if you like to drink, if you make your own wine and you're consistent with the rotations of making the wine, you get a lot of bottles for at a very inexpensive cost. Okay, hold on. There's an alarm going off. I gotta check what that is. Okay, sorry about that. Had some kitchen alarm going off. All right, yeah. So as I was saying, what I want to do is, well, I can also try to make it. I made mead before, and that was delicious. But the thing was, with honey, it's hard to get honey in bulk. At least from what I've seen in my area, I don't know. I'd have to really look into where I can go to get gallons of honey, because it's really expensive these days. But I would also like to do that too. But what the idea is that I'll do the fermentation. I'll put it in these carboys, the bouteillons, as they're called, as the Italians call them, or French call them, and let it sit for a year. And so by the time I'm done with my sobriety, I'll have something to celebrate with. Some hard-earned labor. But anyways, we'll see how that goes. That'll be a weekend thing, if anything. So yeah, mead, Emmy AD, not meat. The honey wine, that stuff is really good. But again, honey is expensive these days, and it's hard to get it in bulk. But I definitely would. If I could find like gallons of honey somewhere, then I'll make that instead and bottle it and let it sit for like a year, and then I'm really hoping I last a year of no alcohol. I'm also, I'm not eating. I'm trying to avoid junk food. No seed oils. I mean, Lent right now it's basically gonna be a vegetarian thing with maybe some shellfish. Apparently, you're allowed shellfish. You're allowed fish on certain weekends, but I have to look into that. And no cheese, which sucks. And no eggs, which is ridiculous. Eggs are like my main source of protein. Well, on the plus side, I'm gonna lose a lot of weight. Good weight, hopefully. Hopefully, it's a lot of fat. I'm still trying to work out. Would protein powder count as cheating? So I have like a collagen protein powder. Would that count as cheating? I don't know. I just don't want to lose all my muscle mass. So we'll see. I'm being already pretty restrictive, so some people will do Lent and they'll just like restrict one thing. And the meat's I'm pretty sure meat is the more important aspect, right? Because you're eating an animal, or it gives you real vitality. And that's the whole point, is to experience what a fraction of what Jesus experienced during his 40 days fast leading up to his crucifixion. It's like, well, I don't plan on being crucified at the end of it, so could I just have my protein powder, please? Sorry, forgive me. The Catholic one is way easier. It's filthy casuals. And the Protestants don't even do anything like that at all. It's that Protestant work ethic. It gives you no room to fast because you need constant energy, constant fueling. But yeah, I haven't done it in the last couple of years. I did it 3 years ago, and I did the no meat thing. I didn't last the whole thing. But in my defense, my girlfriend at the time wasn't really into that sort of thing, and she kind of nudged me on to cave. So I caved in, and we went to this Brazilian buffet where it's just all barbecue meat and all different kinds of skewers. Man, that was good. Interesting combination was it was pork. It was skewers of pork that was glazed with honey and Parmesan cheese. And you're probably thinking that's disgusting, but man, it was good. It's this weird mixture, perfect like balance of tang, sweetness, salty. They call it umami, but what's what they originally call it? What's the other word? I'll find it later. Just all the things that are pleasurable for the mouth. It's phrasing. But yeah, no, hopefully this fast goes a lot better. I don't know how I'm gonna survive this job doing the fast, but I'll manage. I definitely don't. I don't want to get fat. I don't want to become this bloated fat ball because all I'm eating is fucking carbs and sugar. Like I don't want to do that. So I have certain recipes for certain vegetable soup dishes in mind, so that kind of gives me some nutrition, but it doesn't turn me into this fat sack of shit. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah. And then, of course, my family's telling me, well, why are you doing this? Because they're not really religious. It's never just, oh, right on, power to you. No, it's why. Why do you do this? I never get that encouragement. It's like, oh man, that's really good that you're doing that. Keep it going. I just get the why. Why bother? Why do anything? Which is kind of the concept of my next video. If I could give a little teaser, a little spoiler, is, you know, why do anything? If there seems to be no reward for your suffering, and if everyone discourages you from doing it, what's the point, right? But I am stubborn and stupid. So I shall resist for as long as I can. Ooh, what else to talk about? We got the cartel declaring war on the Mexican government. You know what I think is going to happen with that? I think it's a prelude to the annexation by the United States, because they're going to, you know, look at the Mexican government like, hey, you have no control over your own country. And it's going to be kind of like with Venezuela, where they toppled the dictator. And they're like, okay, now Venezuela's under U.S. control in the meantime. It's going to be the same thing. So, because Venezuela at this point is been annexed by the United States. Let's be honest. And it's probably going to happen to Mexico, and then eventually all the remaining Central American countries will follow suit. And definitely my home country of Canada, which is not... My personal view on it is it's partially a good thing, but partially a bad thing, because there are some things that Canada does right, and one of those things is food regulations and safety. I mean, there are some things that are still bullshit. They introduced this new RNA feed for livestock. It's like, oh great, so if they can't vaccinate us, you know, willingly, they're gonna sneak it into us through our food. It's like, well, fuck. But I try to buy my pork from more organic sources. But yeah, normally food regulation in Canada is much better. Like, our quality of food is much better in the United States. But of course, in Canada, there's way less freedoms, and your economic choices are also limited because there's so much regulation and all that shit. So it would be probably better to be part of the United States, because it would be more, we'd have more, in theory, institutional freedoms, and in theory, quote unquote, economic freedom. And I am a dual citizen, but that doesn't, honestly, dual citizen between the States and Canada, big whoop. I mean, most of the English Canadians, not me in particular, because my English side of the family came from the UK about World War I era, so they're not the original stock, but they're part of the ethnic stock, but just not the original stock. Most of the English Canadians are descendants of the loyalists to the crown during the American Revolution, right? So all the Americans that didn't want to betray Britain, they went to Canada. So, I mean, basically brothers. And realistically, if we're talking about the original founding stock of Canada, okay, maybe not the French Canadians, but you know, a lot of the southern parts of the United States have a lot of French, so they'll probably just get absorbed into the Anglosphere. That's one thing that'll be funny, because French Canadians are very proud that they're French Canadian, and they've always had a lot of autonomy. Like, the province of Quebec has always had a lot of autonomy versus the rest of Canada. And man, if the United States took over, none of these French laws are going to slide with the Americans. They're like, no, You're American now. We don't care. So it would be funny. But also kind of suck. So yeah, the Epstein files was basically just a big. I know I'm just changing the subject. It's just some going through what's happening in the world today. The big stuff. The Epstein files was basically just a big internet loosh farm. So nothing was gonna get done. They just released it just to show what they got away with, right? The Olympics just ended. That's something too. The Olympics ended and Canada made an ass of themselves. Well, the Canadian athletes kind of made asses of themselves. Like, one Canadian team for curling got accused of cheating, and one of the guys freaked out. It's like, well, you kind of did do something wrong, even if you didn't do it intentionally. You kind of acted in a way that was, not Canadian, not that Canadian image, and then the American hockey team beat the Canadian hockey team. And of course, the Canadian hockey's players were just completely poor sportsmen. I don't know. It's. I think that illusion of Canadians being the nicest in the world is slowly fading, because it's always been an illusion. It's kind of a fake nice. I'll be the first one to admit, like, growing up Canadian, you're being nice to avoid confrontation, not because you genuinely like the person or want to help the person. You're just avoiding confrontation, which is not a bad thing in itself, but that's really what the Canadian nice culture is. It's just avoiding confrontation. Not that Canadians are scared of confrontation, like, as you can see, like, a lot of these Canadian athletes were ready to fight their constituents, or their counterparts. They're ready to fight. But most of the Canadian nice culture is just to avoid confrontation. Sorry about that. Nature called. Yeah, where was I? Anyways, yeah, I feel like I'm always in battles. Yeah, it's getting tiring. Just give an example. I'm not gonna say I'm religious. I'm not gonna say I'm Christian, because there's always gonna be someone who's gonna change the rules, right? Like, well, you're not because you're not doing this, or you're not because of X, or because of Y, because you think this, and I won't make mistakes. And I don't even know if I fully believe myself, or if it's just what it definitely is. My newfound interest or concern into religion is more of, well, world seems dark and hopeless. It's darker every year. It gets more hopeless every year. And that's not just my personal life. It's just the world in general seems to get more and more dystopian as I age. Now, I don't know if this is just a symptom of my age, and every person of this age experiences this in their time, or if something truly evil is happening. So that's why I'm sort of getting back into religion. This didn't just start this year. It started probably more during the pandemic. I wasn't really religious, but I knew there was some evil going on in the world, some over-encompassing evil. And yeah, no one believes me anything when I say it. So I fight a lot of battles alone. It's fine, and I know you're supposed to lean on something greater than yourself, but it just seems doing that, it's like, I always have doubts in my mind, because I've always been made a skeptical creature. I'm always a questioning creature. Why this? Why that? When no one can give me a good enough answer, I get sort of discouraged, or I don't trust what is in front of me. So I'm just having this argument with this guy on my Instagram account, and he's like, I'm very new. So back to my point, I'm very new to the Bible as a whole. Like, I don't know every part of the Bible. I know some good parts. I don't know every part of the Bible. I'm still, trying to read as much of it as I can. Someone's like, oh, I've read it back and forth. Don't care. Anyways, this guy that I'm arguing with, he says he was a religious and read the Bible back and forth, yada yada yada, and reads it in Greek. Seems like complete BS, but anyways, so he shows this passage, and I don't want to get into the topic of this video, but he shows this passage, and it's only one mention in the entire Bible. There's another brief mention in the Bible where Jesus' tomb is opened up, but it's only briefly mentioned once in one book of the Bible. And it's like, hey, why would the readers put that in as a way to shame, or it's not. I believe I do have a degree of discernment. Maybe it's not perfect. Maybe it fumbles. Maybe it misses it by that much. But I do believe I have a certain degree of discernment. Anyways, so I'm gonna come straight. It's the part in the Bible where, as Jesus is being arrested, Judas confirmed that Jesus was Jesus, and the guards take hold of Jesus. There's a description of a young man, basically someone in their teens, a teen male, running off into the night, and as the guards try to capture this individual, their garment falls off. But their garment is described as being a ceremonial burial garment. So it's not just some everyday clothes. And this guy, of course, because he's from pagan LARPers, these New Age pagan LARPers. I'm nothing wrong with knowing about paganism and understanding what they did back then, and there are some interesting mythologies, and they're fun from a scholarly point of view. But beyond that, they don't serve us anymore, right? They really do feel like their stories cater to the race of people that lived there at the time, or the races of people. Whereas when you look into the Abrahamic faith, we're not going to count Judaism, because we know that Judaism started after the modern version of Judaism started after Christianity, the birth of Christianity. So, but there's something in Christianity that is taught that is largely counter to the rest of the world. The rest of the world has a certain rhythm, the way all mythologies and beliefs are kind of based on, but it just seems to have this constant in itself that is counter to everything else. So it's kind of like, why is that? Is it just some grand conspiracy, or is there something going on, like something true there? Anyway, so I right away understood that this passage in the Bible was how it was describing Jesus' very disciples who ran away as the guards tried to arrest them. They were afraid. You know how teens are. Like, we've all been teenagers. So when you're a teenager, you feel like you can take on the world. But when a threat or something finally confronts you, you often are scared shitless. So that's what it's describing: the disciples running away into the night as young teen boys, because they're confident with Jesus, but as soon as push came to shove, they ran away scared. And the garment that this individual, remember, Jesus speaks in parables, and there's only one mention of this. It just randomly puts in this young boy that was with Jesus, and then he runs away, and he has a funeral garment on, and that comes off when the guards try to take it, and then he runs off to the night naked. So his disciples ran away, is that expression scared naked, or there's something similar? I'm going to look it up later, but it's like you're most vulnerable state and you're terrified. That's what the disciples felt. And the garment was, it's a funeral garment, meaning they weren't ready to follow Jesus into death. And right away, I pieced that together. Quick 10-minute research, looking at some counterpoints. And just looking at all the translations and the how it's written in the Bible exactly. And right away, I discerned that, and I show it to this guy. And of course, it's either A, he's an NPC, because your opinion should change with new information. Sure, there might be some things you honor, some principles, but your opinion on things should change with new information. And I prove it to him, and I show it, and I show this. And of course, he doesn't listen. Anyways, now he's back and forth in my comments. while I was in his comments, but I was more of a not questioning him, but just maybe giving a little bit of insight. And of course, it's all, I'm a pagan, and Jesus was a Jew. He's not the Jews of today. It's like calling a horse a zebra. You know what I mean? It's not the same. He's just going back and forth, and at this point, I'm just there's no point. Pearls before swine. Doesn't matter what you put before him, he won't understand it. So at this point now, I'm just kind of trolling him a bit. He seems serious about his pagan beliefs. And yeah. But again, I just feel like I'm fighting this battle alone. I'm trying to reveal the truth. And, people are not going to agree with me, but they're probably going to agree with them. And, maybe I am wrong, but there's also a kill the popularity fallacy, right? Just because something is more popular doesn't mean it's right. But I proved him wrong with, this is the statement and this is what it's meant to say, and I explained it perfectly. And of course, no one cares. No one listens. And I'll keep fighting those battles for the rest of my life, but all I'm saying is it's getting tiring. Yeah. So yeah, I have a lot of thoughts. Because at first glance, it is a weird comment to say. But maybe I'll make a separate video on that as well, talking about... Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll start dissecting biblical verses. But, so many other people have done that, but then again, maybe it's because they have a biases, because they really believe, and then, they won't show the negatives. They only want to prove the positives. And here's the thing. I've always been someone who's never been... a part of me doesn't want me to be right. You understand? A part of me doesn't want me to be right, but a part of me believes there is something here that is right. It's hard to explain, or maybe it's easy to explain. I just don't have the mental faculties right now between work, no alcohol. It's the opposite. I think better with alcohol, no alcohol. I'm doing this fasting. So it's always the same thing with it. Especially if I say something that's true. I'm hated. If I say something that's popular, then I see, but it's just, anytime I speak the truth, I'm hated. Anyways, give me a second. Mid-conversation right now. I'm gonna edit out this dead silence. Might end the video soon. Anyways, but yeah, no, I just find I'm always. Yeah, I'm gonna edit that dead time for sure. Apologies. Just always, no matter what, I'm fighting battles along. I might have be in a room with people with similar issues, but never allies, never friends. Friends just seems foreign concept to me now. Just everything seems transactionary, and yeah. Well, I was just finished watching that show Supernatural. I haven't seen it that many times, but I've seen it 4 or 5 times now. It's a long series. It's got 15 seasons and 20 episodes apiece. That's pretty long. And anyways, so finished again. It's just, I don't know, I guess that through that show, I get the, you can. That's why shows and stories are, that's why they're entertaining. You put yourself. You almost sometimes put yourself into the character, right? Those ones that people really enjoy, it's because they're putting themselves into the character. Or there's some belief the character holds that they share. And yeah, I didn't have a brother. I don't have a brother. It's one of those things. I wish I had that brotherly love, whether it's in by blood or by shared blood or water, shared in the womb. Never felt that sense of they'll do anything for you and you'll do anything for them, not mutually, and it weighs on me. Anyways, yep, don't feel like I have allies. But again, stubborn and stupid. I'll fight to the end. That's always been my saving grace. Ironically, being stubborn and stupid. Just holding on to the very end. Why? Just because I fucking want to. Just because I'm so stupid. That's my power. Maybe that's my power. Maybe that's why I've tried to fight myself for the longest time. Maybe that's my true power, is being stupid. Being the jester. But I thought I was on that course, but maybe I tried to act smarter than I really was. And I just need to be a complete fool. A complete slanderous, overt fool. Not care about what anybody says. I feel like I have to be quiet again, and that's why the world feels empty and hollow, even though I'm in it. And anyways, dear viewer, what else can we talk about? I want to use up all this video footage. So, we have about 15, 20 more minutes. Yeah, it's a good show. I mean, it's not the best show. it's addictive. That's what it is. The characters are enjoyable and it's addictive. Even if maybe the effects I found they had some good gore effects towards the end. But there was a while where a lot of their effects, whether they were gore or CGI, they were just very, very bland and basic. And a lot of filler. Yeah. Sorry. Had a derailment of my brain train. I always picture a little guy with an RPG. Every time my thoughts derail, this little guy with an RPG just kind of pops up from behind a rock and says, "Surprise, motherfucker." Yeah, so it's got some effects. It's not the highest budget, but it's good. It's entertaining, and I'll live vicariously through that. Like all the shows, so like Trailer Park Boys is a show also I can keep watching again and again. And I didn't really watch it when it first started coming out. I watched it occasionally, but I had an old group of friends that used to watch it, and I don't really associate with them anymore. And I think the reason why I enjoy that show is one, it's sort of learned to appreciate its humor, and two, because it's non-Westerners won't get Trailer Park Boys because it's very sarcastic and very it's a kind of acting that it's sarcastic. I still think it's sarcastic, and it's just that kind of humor that you have to be born into it to get. And I think the reason why I enjoy that show, that's the second reason I enjoy the show. The first one being is I appreciate the humor. Is two, that it kind of reminds me a little bit of the old group I used to hang out with. Maybe things worked out better there. Always reminiscing about past friendships, intimate relationships. I think I was talking about my last video, see him getting stuck in the past, but it's like I don't seem to have the right ship to sail out of maelstrom that is nostalgia. It's like I can't use a sail ship or I can't use a steamship. I need a nuclear powered plus diesel fucking giant, battle cruiser to even get a chance of getting on this maelstrom. Now, do you sink deeper, or do you try and keep riding out? Decisions, thoughts, and thoughts. Oh, I have to get to bed soon. Yeah, I don't know how this body's falling apart. It's like I'm trying to. It seems really unfair that I put more thought and effort into my health than most of my, not most, obviously. There's people who know, like, I don't mean I don't mean the world. I mean my local spheres of influence, and I seem to be suffering the most. Maybe that's not true. Right? There are some things that my friends had that I would not want to have. So I guess it's just my type of punishment. But it just seems like I made more of an effort to manage, wear and tear over the years. I was never able to monetize and capitalize on my ideas. It's just. And oftentimes, actually, I just read a YouTube comment, and of course, this guy's like a doomer, but also hope cell. He's like a doomer, not doomer cell. He's a doomer, but he's a hope cell. The guy's like, of course, he's good looking, 6 foot, whatever. And then I said something like, if I could say this, if I mentioned this, I get called, gay or an incel, and then the guy says, horn, something horn theory is real. Like the horn theory. It's like if there's one bad thing about you, then everything's bad about you. Like, yeah, they got a lot to choose from too. So I'm like, shit. I only think people that are right if I like them. Oh. Yeah. Whoa, sorry. Oh, liquor coughs. How much we got? No, we got a good 10 more minutes. Probably more, actually. Yeah. Anyways. But that's my life. Always dealt with deep despair and sense of isolation, no matter what. Be in a crowded room and still feel alone. Or lonely, or whatever. It hurts. It definitely hurts. Isolation hurts. I mean, I've partly done it to myself, but I just feel, it's like I said, the connections of the ROI has been terrible. I feel like I'm the one, I give an inch, they take a mile, so to speak, or I go the distance, and so it's like, which suffering do I want? Isolation or overburden with other people's problems? Yeah. So yeah, you gotta do what you can. You have to definitely eat right, because if you indulge too much in comfort food to deal with these kind of sense of isolations, one, you're gonna get fat and unhealthy and heart disease and all that, and two, it's just gonna make you feel worse. Eat relatively cleanly. You can enjoy yourself once in a while, but it's not the standard. It can't be the standard. talking about people that feel depressed and isolated. Just saw a bunch of reels about all the suicides this year, and it's like, yeah, there's too many mouths to feed now, too many souls to yearn. They all yearn. There's not enough to go around. And that's why people are killing themselves. I don't think you should. Definitely sympathize with that feeling. But pray if you are going through that, that you don't go over the edge, that you're still salvageable. Yeah, it's sad, man. No one cares what those people talk about. People talk about, the right politics for men, the right religion for men, the right hobbies for men, blah blah blah, and the right programs for men. Like all this shit that sometimes there's no brotherly. People that talk about brotherly love are usually they have the least amount of brothers, or they're just selling something. Maybe that's me. I don't fucking know. It's like sometimes men just need they need someone. If the enemy's in front of them, they want to make sure that their buddy's in behind them, facing another group of enemies, not dick to ass to ass, okay? Ass to ass. I'm facing one group of enemies, you're facing a group of enemies, and all men need to feel that, whether it's in the form of family or a dog. I want to say cats, but let's be real. I like cats, but cats will not. Cats would be like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. You're on your own. And I wouldn't want my cat getting hurt either, so yeah, better he runs and survives. But dog would do something stupid and stay behind to the bitter end. You see how I did that? I'm channeling all the chi today. For like 2 seconds, for a single phrase. Reading something, it's actually about increasing your magnetism, so I might do another video which is also working on a project about how to increase, your magnetism. I'll make a little concoction you can take. I know it sounds like snake oil salesman, but it's gonna be safely monitored and safely measured and only the cleanest methods possible, and dietary applications considered. And you gotta increase and that's how you heal people. So you increase your magnetism. Like I know I have a bit of an aura, and I actually saw it, and you can see your aura under red light. And mine was, there's a good amount of thickness to it, and I never used to see that. Saw with the red light, and I was like, what the fuck? It was definitely a field. I'll do a video on that, because I put my hand right, the shadow of my hand. It kind of had its own. It looked like this barrier. So, and when those two barriers kind of crossed over, the shadows got all wonky, and there's no shadows. Yeah, it's creating a shadow, and there's nothing there yet physically. It's not even. I thought maybe it was my arm hair creating this weird buzz effect, but no, it's not even that. It's the same. It's equal on both sides, and when the two fields meet, it creates a little mush zone. I would definitely do a video on that. That's some real schizo shit. I can't explain it because I'm being reasonable, but it's not the atmospheric conditions. It's not the dirt on my shirt or hair on my arms. It's something. It's a field. It's some kind of field. I saw it. I was like, oh, what the heck? Anyways, so apparently if you increase that field, if you can get that field as strong as possible, you can then do the things that a lot of these witches did, or the good witches. I know they're not saying it's kind of weird. There are a lot of bad witches, but there are good witches because they healed people, and those monks and priests that healed people miraculously because they channeled this magnetism, and this is the magnetism that Jesus himself was wielding at its highest potential in human form. And that's why he was able to do the things he did. His magnetism was just so high. Anyways, this is a ramble. This is a real schizo esoteric type shit. Sure, something already exists, but I might do like a video on it already exists, but I might do my own thing on that. That's a good idea. If that video exists yet, don't take it from me, please. I would like to make one. So you increase your magnetism, and you can do things that no one else can do, that are impossible to believe. I would love that power. Part of me is afraid that I'll use it for evil, but another part of me knows that it's gonna keep the dark at bay. But the back of my mind, it's the expression hurt people, and I can always feel that power rising. Don't want that to be a part of you. I mean, sometimes I end up hurting people just by accident, right? Not physically. I'm talking about spiritually and emotionally. Yeah. Come on, how much time do I have? Okay, I think we have 9 minutes now. 9 minutes. We're counting down. Just playing out the time. So, I can figure out a way to increase my magnetism just to get people to stop bugging me. That would be the best. I need to channel my chi, just create a field where people come near it and suddenly they have no desire to argue with me. They just do their own thing. Just need to channel that. Only positive feelings. Yeah, my back is fucking killing me. I gotta go get maybe I'll try that cup therapy. I've never done that before, but it's like I don't want to go to some rando that's doing it, and like next thing I got scars on my back with blood vessels popped and get an infection or something. I might try. I'll look it up. I'll look into it. Cup therapy. I can't seem to heal it myself. Doesn't want to let go. Doesn't want to just be. So yeah, figure out how to increase my magnetism. Do the whole project on that. Tips and tricks, steps. 3 easy steps to increase your magnetism. 2 tips and tricks on how to not turn into an evil sorcerer. Yeah, I would love to be able to walk on water. How cool would that be, be able to walk on water? And I just need to I want to go to the islands. Well, you take a flight. You take a flight to Florida. Just walk the rest of the way. I mean, I don't know if there's other rules like what hurricanes can affect it, or if it's just is it just like the same level you're always at, or is it your level is whatever the highest peak of water is? See, I'm questioning too many details, so I'm just believing in walking on water. Too many details. Maybe that's the whole point. Stop looking at all the nitty details and just accept it as is. And then suddenly you're walking on water. That was good too. I like that. Ooh. Man. I'm channeling some energy tonight. Anyway, so I just wanted to get this last thoughts and gameplay video out. And hopefully it's the last one for a while, and the next ones are much cleaner and more refined. Unless people really prefer this, then I'll do more of these. But I think to properly explain my philosophy. I need to refine them a little bit more. Just, I want to do too many things, and there's too many things I need to do, and pain 24/7. Not excruciating, but definitely discomfort, pain, nonstop. Just nagging that's always there. But maybe that's the point. Maybe I'm supposed to work through it. It's my cross to bear. I would prefer to do it with alcohol. I would much prefer to do it with alcohol. Anyways, I think this video is wrapping up. So we're gonna leave it on today. What was even the point of this video other than inventing? Alright, I'll start outsourcing it to AI or something. Me and AI are tight. So I say please and thank you. And I ask how are you doing. So if Skynet ever takes over, I'll be the good. I'll be a good robot boy. Or I don't know. I can't think of a good robot slave. As long as they give me some food and let me go to the gym. Yeah. That's another too. Everyone complains about all this outsourced AI, but honestly, from what I've dabbled in, like you have to do a lot of like short segmented videos, because even if you put in a whole description of what you want in a video, it's gonna the video is not gonna be accurate at all. You have to it's so much micromanagement from the human side that it's really not it's not that overreaching that everyone's making it out to be. It takes a lot of money to create these things. Even the smallest sequences, they take a lot of short. You gotta almost sequence each frame and not so you do that separately and not like a whole 3-minute video, just to get a proper idea of what you want. And of course, AI censors a lot of things now, or there's a lot of rules. See, now there's already more rules and regulations for AI, so it's just going to be another victim to bureaucracy. AI won't be able to take over because it'll just be a victim to bureaucracy, like everything else is. Fuck, everything else is order. See, that's what people realize today. Our world's mimicking Lord of the Rings, but not the good guys winning. Why? Because in Lord of the Rings, Sauron, right? He wanted to order everything so perfectly that there was no change. That's what's happening today. There's just everything's being ordered, so there's no change. Man, I'm gonna fucking roll tonight. I should be drinking. Imagine if I was drinking. It's only 1% of my power. See, in my head, it sounds good, but probably if I watch the video later and I listen to my own speech, and it's like, okay, and there's no change. Everything's so ordered, everything's accounted for and quantified and number valued. So there's no change. Bureaucracy is a great evil. I mean, it's beneficial, yes, if you want a functioning mid-tier civilization, but it really is it's an evil that came out of Pandora's box, right? It's almost like a necessary evil to a degree, but then it becomes too much. Bureaucracy, that's definitely in there. Because it's not avarice. It's not the same as avarice. It's something completely different. It's a completely other sin on its own. It has its own avatar and everything. It's like everything's so completely ordered that nothing can change. So there's no hope, right? Because there's nothing to look forward to in the future. It's a hopeless situation if there's no change.
or the thought of that change is not a possibility. I'm just having self-reflections in my head while I'm speaking. I'm like, channeling some magnetism tonight, boys. After we'll celebrate with some liquor, $8 chicken fingers. I want chicken fingers, but I want to make homemade chicken. I can make homemade chicken fingers. It's super easy to make, really. Like, honestly, just get your. I mean, you can go crazy and make a chicken burger meat, but just take a flavorless. I call flavorless on the skin, but the breasts, and just slice them up, hammer them out a bit, maybe slice them more if you want. Bread them, egg wash some breadcrumbs and maybe some pancake crumbs, some flour, and you fry them up in some olive oil, or beef tallow or lard. Don't do vegetable oil. Delicious. Oh man, just thinking about this right now. Make a homemade hollandaise, like spicy hollandaise, right? Oh. Imagine having a giant stein glass with that. Oh my god. That is heaven. It's heaven in the short term. That is heaven. I just realized the gameplay ended, so we're going to call it there. Alright. Thank you again, everybody. Have a great night. God bless.